Hopefully educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Welcome to Life by the Numbers with celebrity numerologist Michelle R. Bao, broadcast on UBN Radio from the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. Exploring topics of spiritual growth, current affairs, celebrity news, and more through the lens of numbers. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I always get that mixed up, the overlay. It's like, am I on? Am I not? Timing. Okay, cool. All right, so as promised, so welcome back to another episode of Life by the Numbers with moi, celebrity numerologist Michelle Herbeau. I have a guest this week. I wasn't sure if I was going to. It was last minute, but here he is. And I love Jin Bang. Isn't that the coolest name ever? Like, that's like, isn't it, John? I think that's Jin Bang. Like, that's like super cool. If you're talking about branding, and I'm all about branding. It's like, you know, I talk about brands all the time, and that's like super cool. I love the name. It's like, you've already got a great brand, you know? It's just cool to me. But anyway, so Jin is a really cool cat because he's a hairstylist, but he's been doing it since he was 15. Like, who does that?
14.
Right? 14, sorry.
Wow.
I mean, that's just amazing. It's like, talk about knowing what falling into your life purpose early, right? It's like kind of what happened.
Timing, right?
Timing, totally. But we're going to get into his story. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the energies and stuff like that going on. But yeah, we'll get to Jin's bio. But Jin, I want to talk to you about the energy right now because I got to get this out. I have to talk about it because I know it's like I sound like a broken. Every week I come in here and it's like, what the hell is wrong with the energy? I'm like, please, somebody kill me. But this week is what, another full moon or?
Yes, the supermoon.
Supermoon, yes.
Yeah, Saturday
supermoon.
night.
So how are you feeling right now?
Let's see, it was 4th of July weekend. I just got back in town from a trip in Mexico City, and I'm pretty energized. I mean,
so you're like pumped?
I'm just pumped.
Really?
I'm ready for life.
So you're not totally?
Yeah, I'm just ready to get it done, killing it, and really excited.
Well, I guess I could resonate a little bit with that because after the retrograde was over, the Mercury retrograde, which is another backwards time, I kind of felt like I was pumped and ready to go. But this full moon, like last night, I got up at 2:30, and I'm like, I almost debated on not bringing my purse because the bags under my eyes could carry everything I need, right? And so I've been up since 2:30, and then to top it off, not only was I up, since 2:30, I woke up to a zit starting on my chin. And one right between my eyes. Can we say hashtag karmic debt? It's like, wow, how could it get any worse? So the energy with this supermoon, what does it say, John? John is, I have to say, is my Google master.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have what's called Google dyslexia, where if I type in supermoon or full moon, I probably get either pornographic websites or terrorist websites or something. So I call upon John to give me my info.
Sure, and I'll read a little bit. What I'm reading here is actually from USA Today, and they're saying that the supermoon will rise in the east at sunset on Saturday evening. Unusually large moon known as a super perigee moon will be the biggest in almost 20 years.
Cool.
So it's the last full moon so big and close to Earth occurred in March of 1993. So they're calling it a supermoon because when the moon is slightly closer to Earth, its orbit, looks like it's larger than average. So,
cool.
And then there's just a lot going on as far as emotionally charged, as you had talked about. Just emotions. They reference the moon as being lunacy. Lunatic, lunacy.
Yeah.
So
people going a little crazy.
So people probably be even more crazy than usual because of being supercharged.
Yeah. Like
but also the positive thing though is that it's a super abundant moon, so you can.
Okay, we can work with that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's why I'm feeling all that energy.
It could be your manifestation. You mean like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder. My moon's in Scorpio, so I'm probably having a hard time with it because the moon thing.
Yeah,
because the emotions and
because Scorpio's intense as it is. So.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And now I have another story I want to share before we get into it. So yesterday I went to Long Beach, and I've been kind of going through this like transformational stuff, like in my personal life and all this jazz. So I go to this business meeting, and this woman who's out front, like the reception area or whatever, she comes in and she says, "There's a hummingbird in the building," and it was flying all around, and the lady eventually caught it with her hands. And so I looked up hummingbirds, and it's all about exactly what I'm going through. So I thought that must be a message for me. So I thought I'd share it with
a little
everyone.
spirit totem.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Because I thought, and when I looked it up, I thought, that is me. That is totally what I'm going through.
Busy, going from place to place, making things happen.
Yeah, and like the past stuff. And they were talking about something because they go backwards. They fly backwards.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to share it with everybody because I just thought, pay attention to that stuff, like the synchronicity. The the messages, though, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
no, I'm a big believer.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely opened my eyes.
Okay, so that out of the way, I want to get into your bio because wow. Okay, so not only have you been doing hair since 14, you've studied under some of the greats.
Yes, I'm very fortunate and blessed. I started with a great company in Washington D.C. called PR and Partners. Basically, they're kind of like the middle to high end 19 salons. I apprenticed with that company in 1999. And then when I turned 18, my mentors pretty much had me apprentice with other big brands.
18,
So,
and you're
yeah.
apprenticing with big brands.
So, Toni and Guy, Sassoon, Bumble, and they basically sponsored me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to travel Europe, different cities, countries, fashion weeks, photographic work. And then the spooky part about, energy, life, numbers, was right when I was about 25. A French company in LA approached me in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically liked what I was doing. So my game was more corporate events, education.
Yeah.
And they moved me out to LA.
Cool.
And that was a really scary part because I didn't know anybody, and coming from the East Coast, it was kind of different.
Yeah,
Wild, Wild
totally
West.
different, isn't it?
And I didn't really, know much about, energy and numerology, the stars and all that, good juju. And in the last 2 years, it's all come together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been really focused on, looking for it, feeling it, people, buildings, like you said, the hummingbird. And it's almost scary.
It is. It's like sometimes the synchronicity is like too much, right?
And the coincidence, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And it's just been really enjoying the ride, and I call my old mentors all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually invited a few, and like, hey, check it out on the radio. So maybe a few friends from back east are listening. But I'm a big believer, and especially when we met a couple months back. I mean, it's just been an amazing journey.
Yeah. Once you're in that river of synchronicity, it's like you're smooth sailing.
And I'm telling everyone right now, I was a guy, I didn't believe any of that.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I was like,
totally.
no,
I
this
was
is my
hardcore
life,
corporate, like
my choice, and this is weirdness. And now it's just, you have to pay
you
attention.
can't not believe it. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
it's
have
so
to.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like it happens with such frequency that it can't be just coincidence. There's something more.
And then I've been getting into like the rocks, and that's a whole different conversation. And
Oh, you're going hardcore now.
well, I'm there's so much great things happening, and then I don't want to disturb the line. I'm just trying to be as positive and keep everyone nice, and whatever, to keep on maintaining that good vibe.
Yeah. Stay in the flow,
yeah,
right?
stay in the flow.
Stay in the flow.
You know?
Yep. But I think once you get in, it's like you never really get out. It's like once you connect, it's like this energy that you're in the club. I always call it the club, right? It's the club.
You either believe or you don't. Once
Yeah.
you're in, you're in.
Totally. So, okay, so this still is mind-boggling to me. Someone does hair at 14 and they're studying with the greats at 18. But not only that, I mean, you've done lots of celebrities. You have your own, you developed your own hair color.
It's
Or
not
hair color system.
It's not my own hair color. It's basically I basically worked for so many different brands that I help them develop a better way of doing the application. And so I have a business partner, you met Jean.
Yes.
She has skincare, so I'm helping her with Evaloy Beauty with corporate education on sales and profit manuals.
Mm-hmm.
But the color that I'm working on now with this brand called Kimon, it's an Italian line. It's completely ammonia-free, so it doesn't burn your hair.
Wow.
Doesn't make itchy and pregnant ladies can come in and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's an amazing color that everyone or all artists should try. But it's a different thing. You have the Procter & Gamble and L'Oreal world. They kind of dominate education.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate enough. I worked with Causeway and different corporate factories, where anytime there's a new bottle of water, sunglasses, whatever it is, like Jen, try it out. What do you think? So right now I'm working with a company in Mexico City on helping branding their education, and the technique is called balayage.
That's it. That's the word. Yeah.
Balayage it's been around since the 60s, but it was so French. So again, I was fortunate with working with celebrity stylist Laurent with Privé.
Yeah.
I was just blown away. Like, I've never seen these techniques going from the East in Europe or in London. So it's a stroke technique that if you do it the right way, think of Victoria's Secret models. It's like when you're a little blonde baby girl, like hanging on the playground. It's very faint at the root, and then it gets kind of ribbony at the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's when you know balayage is good.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of bad balayage because it looks very skunky and stripy. You kind of see it from like a foot or two away. So, I worked with a couple of different artists in Beverly Hills, again, being fortunate and blessed at the right time. And I kind of honed in my own little method of timing, application, and really creative speed.
Mm-hmm.
So, most stylists, they see, 8-10 people a day, wiped out and tired.
That's crazy.
It's a busy day.
Yeah.
Working with my background, I can see anywhere between 20 and 30.
Wow.
I'm just like
Pumping them out.
pumping them out. Someone's like, hello, how are you? What do you need?
Wow.
But it's a different game with my world. In our world, is creative is, it's great to give the energy and give them the experience. But with stylists, the timing, you work 8-10 hours, maximize your potential on how much time and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's my thing on giving back to my world. Is I like to give the honest, good, or great education. When you work for those big brands, no offense, guys, you're kind of limited on what you're allowed to share and teach.
Mm-hmm.
And
the secrets of the
secrets.
trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that.
No.
I have no formal education. I just apprenticed, never went to beauty school, never.
Yeah,
had a
that blows my
degree
mind
in
too.
it.
That you totally didn't have any training except for, and that tells me you have talent, because it's like graphic designers. They either have it or they don't. It's like I've had a bazillion different graphic designers over the years do things for me. And it's like you either have it or you don't. It's one of those creative things, and the same thing with a stylist. It's like I've had many bad ones too, and when you're gifted, you're gifted, right? So I think it has less to do with luck and more to do with your gift, and the fact that people are recognizing your gift, as you go along. So people are seeing that bright light that you are, but also the fact that you're extremely talented.
Well, the spooky part about the whole thing too was when I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm not going to go to school, I'm going to do hair. She basically was like, you're out, you got to get things done. Once, in the Asian culture, I'm Chinese and Korean.
I was going to say that really doesn't go well.
It's big bad news.
Yeah.
Until you get married, or financially,
yes.
Beat your parents, they just hate everything that you do.
Yes.
So once the financial game came for me, my mom pulled me and was like, you know why you're good. I was like, because there was two men that raised me into hairdressing, Michael Handsinger and my, they're kind of like two dads of mine that kind of raised me. Stanley Morris just passed away last year. When he died, it was it was hard for me. It was very different, and I felt like a little piece of me was gone.
Yeah.
They kind of raised me into it, and my mom told me years ago that the only reason why you are where you are because I was a hairstylist.
Yes.
So I never knew that, and then my Stanley was like, your vision wasn't there. It was always in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael and Stanley always saw that within me. And then when my mom told me that, again, the whole alignment, it all just kind of made sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you tell me this now, Mom? Come here.
But it wasn't the right time until now, right?
Yeah,
so
that's what
timing,
moms do.
synchronicity, yeah. So
like, couldn't you tell me back in the day?
But it wasn't time.
No.
I'm a firm believer in that. It's like timing. Sometimes I get frustrated with this. Why isn't it happening?
Yeah.
But then you got to step back and say, well, it's probably not the right time. And I've had many projects over the years where it's like it didn't work, but then I do it again a couple of years later and it would be work like a charm. So timing is everything, I think. And I think that has a lot to do with the synchronicity flow, is that once you're in, it's like you're in. Like a timing belt on a car. It's like once you get in sync with that flow, it's like it's just magic. It's like the things come to you. You don't have to try because you're in the timing of the whole thing. It's like you're in tune.
Huge believer.
Yeah. So it's amazing. I'm always amazed. I mean, I never never ceases to amaze me. But you're in the club.
Very thankful.
Okay, so Tabitha Coffee. Why have I heard that before? What can you explain that?
Yeah, sure. Tabitha Coffee is one of the personally, I've worked with a lot of great celebrity artists, stylists. She's the real deal. I have never met a woman or stylist to be so. Most stylists are good at one or two things. They're either cutters, stylists like updos, like photographer work, or colorists. This woman can do everything phenomenally.
I'm sure you can too, though. I've seen your work.
I mean, literally.
What's your thing then? What do you say?
I have a pretty good balance with everything, but when you work with, because usually these type of headliners, Tabitha Coffee, whoever it is, they kind of take, we do the work, she kind of takes credit for it. She's the real deal. She's like, you guys are my team. Like, I want you guys to grow, and I've never met someone to be so amazing. Honestly, and I've worked with a lot of great artists, and they're really good. She's the real deal.
Wow.
She doesn't have enough credit on the talent that she really has.
She's the one with the reality show, right?
She's a reality show, books. She kind of had that thing where she goes in, takes over salons, help them kind of clean out house. But I was fortunate enough to work with her on basically an educational seminar in Chicago. We did a couple runway shows, and she was in there like working with us, getting it done. And most of the time, they don't really do anything. They kind of like sit back.
Yeah, yeah.
But she was sweating, pissed off, cussing like a horse, like, we need to get this better, Jin, and you do this. And we didn't know each other. I actually was, I barely made it into her team. A lot of miscommunication. Basically, Hollywood, unless you're with an agency, you're not good enough.
Yes.
That's just how it is. And a friend of mine referred me to her. I sent her a bunch of my work. She's like, I'm going to give him a try. So there were 4 of us headlining, and my friend and I, my three new friends, we did most of the work. One guy basically, he just couldn't cut it. It's not that he just wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Public speaking is not easy, and actually doing what we do, and then there's cameras, and NBC4 or whoever.
Yeah.
And it was a very amazing experience. We got on stage together, and we still talk. She's like, Jin, how are you? I'm in Hong Kong. I'm like, great life to have. But she is an amazing individual, and I tell all stylists, if you have a chance to work with her, she is legit, and you're gonna learn a lot.
Yeah, I haven't watched the show, but I've heard her name often. But yeah,
in our show you don't really see the creative part. It's more of her directing, managing, and leading. But she has a brand called Luxe Hair. It's like a wig line, and we basically made pieces, did like a lot of crazy avant-garde styling, nothing what people would wear on the street. But it's fun. You know? Kind of gets your creative energy out.
Yeah, cool. And you travel all over the world, right? Speaking and teaching. Like I kind of find it interesting that, because, I mean, if you think of a stylist, they work with their hands, right? Not a lot of them would probably be good at public speaking, but you have that charisma and stage presence. That kind of.
It took a while. It took
really?
a long time.
You grew into it?
my 2 mentors, Michael Handsinger, he's still around. Bumble Bumble, I went to the first public speaking creative class that they put in. It was in 2003. I still have the DVD, and the goal was, I forget the coach's name. She's not there anymore, but everyone really failed at it because it's nerve-wracking. You're in a room with 75 people you don't know. I wasn't even 21 at that time, and she was like, Jin, I don't care what you say. You have 5 minutes to talk without saying and or
Oh,
and
wow.
You have to look at all of us.
Your first public speaking thing?
And I was like, she's a hot lady. There's all these great-looking people in there. I don't know anyone.
And how many times did you say it?
I was there for half an hour. She's like, you're not getting off stage until you get it done.
No.
So,
wow. That's cruel.
And I have the DVD, and I'm just like, God, this is so bad. And in a lot of my classes, my personal class, I share it. And I say, there's an elephant in the room, guys. And everyone's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I am no different from half the people in this room. No. You guys are more experienced, more certifications than I have.
Yeah.
The only difference is I'll try 120% anything that I do. So, there's a lot of different classes out there. Everyone should try, and always keep on learning. Every 6 weeks, do something different. And that was my lesson in my life. The more I teach, the better I personally get. So I can be in Toronto, California. Another great mentor, his name is Jeff Farrell, is really honed in, or I've really honed in on just really studying harder, making myself better. All these little things we all can learn together, and you just don't want to stop growing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you're in your path and your purpose when that happens, right? It's like, you telling people that, it's like, it's harder for them to grasp it when they're like stuck in a corporate job or like something they hate, learn something new every, keep going, keep moving. But when you're in your path, it's like, you totally know what you're talking about then. It's like, the flow, and you just want to keep moving forward. You want to keep growing.
Yeah, I want a really nice house in Brentwood. That's a dream house I could drive by every day. It's made out of tile.
Well, I think you're on
you are.
on the right track for sure. I mean, wow. How old are you now? Dare I ask?
31.
31, and look at the accomplishments. I mean, that's like, wow. So you currently do hair locally on Robertson, right?
Yes, at my friend's salon, Twist by Oliver. The address is 205 South Robertson, and just kind of do my own thing, renting a chair. My focus right now is with my business partner, Jean So and Evil Away Beauty. We got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, Jean's cool.
Jean's
I like
amazing.
Jean. Yeah, she's
great people.
She's really interesting to me. I'm a people watcher, and I'm an observer, and she fascinates me on different levels. And
She's scary.
yeah,
She's so scary.
she's really neat.
Korean ladies in business are scary.
Okay, so let's get into some juicy stuff here, because I want to know. So you've done like Monica Lewinsky. That just stood out to me for some reason. And then everyone from like Monica to like Kim Kardashian. I gotta ask, Kim Kardashian, she seems to be like very perfectionistic. Like she won't go out without like a eyelash out of place, right? So was she a hard one to do, or was she like a hard one to please?
So how I met Kim was, again, this company Privé moved me out to LA in 2008. Privé, they were the flagship. So Jose Baird, what used to be the original partner with Laurent, they've done everybody. Just working there, if you didn't do one celebrity, something's wrong with you. And even if they weren't your client, I mean, they're just, it's this big salon. I met her through my good friend Philip Wolf, and she was always really nice to me. I was like, hey, Kim, how are you? And she's very professional, super nice. But again, when you're in that world of everybody wants a piece, I'm not that guy. I'm like, hey, Michelle, can I get a photo?
Yeah.
Can I get an
No,
autograph?
I know. Like, I'm not the
like
starstruck. Yeah, totally not.
And I think that was just kind of, maybe we had a line of respect for that. And she was like, Jin's always nice, sweet guy, you know. And I figured she meets so many people, she's not gonna remember my name.
Yeah.
But we did her wedding in Santa Barbara.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy wedding, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh.
Yeah, but. Chris Humphreys was a client of mine, her ex-husband too. NBA player, and it all aligned and keep it going.
Well, I was just curious because she just seems so perfectionistic. I'm like, she must be a nightmare to do hair for.
No, you gotta have that feeling what people like, what they want, and listen, and don't do something that they don't want.
Yeah. Well, that's another question I had for you. Have you ever had like a client like totally go ballistic on you?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Please do tell. I've always wanted to ask a stylist that, but I've never had the guts to do it.
So I was the
3 occasions.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. So I was a cutting director in my own salon in Washington D.C., right outside Virginia. It's been called Oakton, Virginia, and I knew this girl from high school, and she kind of went crazy. Like, just you could tell like maybe she partied too much, something. And, I was like, I don't have time to do your hair, but you can see, my friend John. John's like, man, I don't know, man. Like, she's kind of, a little off. And I'm like, it's money in your pocket, whatever. So he's trying to do her hair, and all of a sudden, she's just like, she sounded like that voice from I'm a Barbie Girl. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of creepy. And, she's moving
That was
all
your
over the
first red
place.
flag.
Oh, yeah. But her mom was a good client of mine. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm like, I don't have time, but, we'll make it happen. Next thing you know it, they're washing her hair. I mean, you gotta remember, this Saturday morning, we have kids in there. I mean, like, old people getting their hair
Busy
done.
day, yeah.
This girl is moaning like she's getting, just getting it done, on a Friday night. And I'm just like, is that the song on the radio?
Yeah, she's off her rocker.
Yeah. So I run back. I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, I guess still messed up from the night before. And I'm
obviously.
like, look, you're going outside. We're calling your fares. This is unacceptable.
Yeah.
This is business.
Yeah.
We have kids here.
Yeah.
So the mom comes in, apologizes, like she can't come back, and she's cussing like a whore. Just you know what I mean? Like, know your surroundings where you are around the public, you know. Especially
she was
kids.
obviously messed up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, totally on something.
So literally, that guy John was like, "I'll never do hair ever again. Like, I'm done. This is just too much of an experience."
The poor.
Oh yeah, he couldn't handle it.
Aw.
That was definitely from the memories, for the definitely memory book. But recently, I've noticed in LA, it's really, I hate to say it, pregnant women shouldn't change too much of their beauty appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady of mine, I've known her since I moved here.
Hormonal, you mean?
I didn't want to say it. You know, and I did her for years, and everything, you know, from color, highlights, whatever, always cool. Her husband, kids, everything. Had another baby, and all of a sudden she's like, you know, remember everyone was cutting off their hair a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And, you know, long blonde. I'm like,
Oh, no.
I was like, you know, I don't think you're ready for that.
Oh, no.
Why don't we kind of slowly go up?
Yeah.
Cussing at me. Oh, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's definitely the baby talking. And I was like,
Well, at least it wasn't after the fact.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So I do it, and she's just crying, yelling. And this is my friend, you know, like we've known each other for 5 years.
So after you did it, she was crying.
Yeah, just cussing like a horse, making a scene. And I was like, look.
But she asked for it.
Exactly. But, you know, what are you going to do?
But it's your fault, right?
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's always my fault.
Yeah.
You know, you can't win. Not with a pregnant lady. You're crazy. So.
You're lucky you're still alive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny thing is her husband and I are still friends, you know, and like, I'm like, you know, she was a little upset. I'm like, it's cool when it happens. You know, nothing.
Hair grows back.
I always say that in all my classes or seminars, like, don't take things personally.
Yeah.
And I really believe that in life. Like, if you're dating someone and he or she doesn't like it, it's okay. He's not, like you said, it's a time. It's not meant to be. Like, someone better just is going to come along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just open your eyes, all good. We can still be friends. If you want to hate me, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope you're well and you know, you meet an amazing individual, you know. I really believe, like, in this area in life that we are, with the social media, and people get so, I don't want to say booty hurt, but just be very sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you're not really going to fight in life if you're going to keep that mentality.
No, and LA is particularly harsh like that.
So sensitive.
Then I was going to say, too, with the hair, it's like it must be your toughest market compared to, like, any other place that you do hair.
It's definitely the toughest market. I tell anybody, when my friends and I have students, I want to move to LA and become a celebrity. It's not what I cracked out to be, let me tell you.
No.
Okay? Because there's two ways. You can be with that one crazy celebrity or amazing celebrity paying you $250 a year.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's not long term. Maybe 5 years, she breaks a leg, or maybe she dies, like Aaliyah, remember?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like the coveted dream for every stylist to come to Hollywood and do hair, but it's like I find it hard to find real people in LA. And, I love LA. I mean, I'm not judging everybody, but it's like compared to the East Coast, I'm from East.
Oh, I know.
So it's, I think it's because it's a mishmash of all these people coming to find themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they get kind of disillusioned in the whole finding their dream, and I think it translates into this flakiness, this kind of like loopy, they've lost themselves.
No, it's a city of lost souls.
It totally is.
And have you heard that saying, guys, that, New York City...
I just went to New York recently.
Got
a refresher.
It's, New York, 10 million people, 10 stories high. LA, right when you think you scratched the surface, you know what's underneath the surface? More surface.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's possible. I think, honestly, it's the industry, the transplants. I'm a transplant, too.
Yeah, I know. Totally. I think everybody is, but it just,
It's that ego and the sensitivity here. Everyone feels I deserve, or I moved here, I worked hard. I'm like, 80% doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
You need 120.
I know.
And again, like we say, timing.
Yeah, and I mean, how many actresses and models are there out there? I mean, what makes you think you're going to be the one, like the next Demi Moore or the next Giselle or whatever, right? It's like
my favorite guy is he's around my age too. Is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Anytime he's on Howard Stern, I'm a huge fan. That guy's been acting since he was like 3. You know, and he had a chance. Instead of he had a chance to do a bunch of movies on TV when he went to Columbia. Mad respect, but he was like, you know what, studios, NBC, whoever, I'm gonna keep on. I want to get my degree. Afterwards, maybe we'll talk. And then for him again, it came to him at 18. He's like, no, I'm going to college. Mm-hmm. And then he got done, and then boom, like
timing.
He's still killing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I didn't want to come across as negative because, you know, I know you're from LA too, right? Yeah. I'm like.
Well, I'm not originally from LA.
I don't. Oh, you're not?
No.
But
from
I mean,
Ohio.
you know, everybody's chasing their dream. But I mean,
Mhm.
you know, when I say what makes them think they're going to be the next, you know, I guess I don't want to discount their dreams. You know, everyone has their dream and their thing, but I just think people get caught up in the Hollywood thing, and I never was. Like, I was never like, I'm not starstruck. It's like if I meet someone on the street, it's like, hey, you know, whatever. Yeah. It's like, we're just people, you know. Yeah. And even sometimes people will get starstruck with me. It's like, I'm just little Michelle, you know. I'm not, you know.
It's keeping us humble and real and
Yeah,
approachable.
yeah. So I think that's what it is. It's the lure of the glitz and the glitter and the.
Hang out more at the beach, Michelle.
Yeah, I need to go to the beach actually.
Anytime you're in Santa Monica, Venice, that's my side.
Yeah, I love Venice. There's something about Venice. I love the energy of it.
That's relaxing.
Yeah.
Creative, chill.
Totally. I love it. Okay, so I wanted to get to a couple more juicy things. Like, any like celebrity hair secrets? Like, is someone like totally gray or like colors it or like thinning hair?
Let's be
or
honest, guys. Here. Okay. Nowadays with genetics and default and diet and whatever, you're looking at 70% of women are gray after about 25.
Well, I just found my first few gray hairs, and I'm devastated. And I've had other people point them out to me, which is even worse. So I've been fortunate. I haven't actually had any.
You're great like Atlanta. And you have curly hair. Remember, when you have curly hair, you get to cheat. No one sees
I
it.
know. I get to
You
cheat
have straight
totally.
hair.
And even the color, it's like if I had highlights, I can cheat a little bit,
Yeah.
or like any kind of color.
Yeah, curls and highlights are good. When you have
Yeah.
straight hair and no body, then you have to get it done all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, it's an illusion, with media and TV, film. No one is perfect. They make you look perfect
No,
for the
I know.
timing.
I know.
Most of these actresses and models, about 90% of them have, thin hair, no hair, and gray
Really?
hair. And I'm not going to drop any names.
Oh, come on. Just one.
I mean, everyone in my world, they know because, you sign the paperwork and, you can't talk about anything. But they're all normal.
Yeah.
Everyone is
They all have
normal.
their own issues,
everyone
right?
has a zit or gray hair. It's life.
Well, John always airbrushes me after the fact. He does a great job with the production, so you look fabulous when it goes out. I'll send you the copy after we're done. But my zits are just.
No, you look good. I don't see any.
Well, thank you. I'm
Well,
a pro at covering them.
Next time have you tried Jean's resurfacing grains?
No.
I'm bringing you one.
Okay, cool.
I should have brought you
Well,
one.
I gotta contact her anyway because my whole launch thing with my jewelry people. I'm launching a new jewelry line, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be numerology jewelry. So
I want a number 4.
yes,
I remember number 4.
Yeah, you're a 4. So I'll have to. They're starting the mock-ups this week, so I'll send you a pic of it, and you can. I'll involve you in the process so you can see as it goes. You might be able to throw in your visionary capabilities in there and let me know what you think. Okay, so there was something else I wanted to ask you too. Oh, so what's next for you? I mean, you've done it all. I mean, you're living the dream in terms of a stylist, right? I mean, how envious are other stylists of you? I mean, you are like kind of at the peak of your career, so to speak. I mean, really.
I feel when I moved to LA, my mom asked me a really important question, my brother. Why are you moving to LA? Are you going to be there to be famous, or are you going there to learn?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm going there to learn. It took me 3.5 years to really, not master, but really hone in exactly what I wanted. And I had a choice. My family's all back east. Like, why don't you come back east? We'll open a big company, medical spa. And I was actually on the verge of leaving. But again, the lines, the stars, my corporate job with this brand called Numa, with Evaloy Beauty and Jean, and then this thing in Mexico City. I mean, life is telling me to stay, and life is telling me.
So recently, this has happened. Like you were going to go back.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Really? Oh wow. So I don't remember what I said your year was. What's your month and your day?
March 25th.
5, 6, 7, 10. Oh, I love that. Yeah, we were talking about that because your gift is communication, right?
Yes.
So because I was baffled at the fact that you were a stylist but still could do the public speaking and be like have that stage presence and be because I've never seen that before. Usually they have one or the other, but not both. But your gift is communication, so it's about sharing verbally, right? It's about teaching and sharing information and all that stuff. Let me see, 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so it's the year of abundance for you. So that makes sense. So all these synchronicities, all these opportunities are like falling into your lap.
It's scary.
Because 8 is the number of abundance and manifestation. So you are like totally in the zone. Totally
8?
like, yeah, 8. 8.
Okay.
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chinese culture and
Oh, yeah, 7 and 8. Yeah.
the 8 is like the creme de la creme, right? It's like the 8 is the lucky number or the financial number or something in that culture, is it not?
I've been seeing a lot of 8s.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say 8s because, or that you are in an 8 year, because I did a name analysis reading for this lady recently, and she came to my house because normally I don't take, but it was a holiday. I'm like, well, I can't take you anywhere, so just come here and we'll kind of chat and whatever, and we'll go through your name. And she pulled up in a Carrera or something, and her license plate, I think it was a Porsche Carrera, and it had 88, then her initials, and then followed by more 8s on her license plate. And I noticed it. And so I didn't really say anything, but then we started to go through her chart, and it was all 8s. It was like ridiculous. There was 8s everywhere. And then I mentioned her plate, and she said, 8s follow me everywhere. So it was really cool. It's like the patterns, the synchronicities, right, with the 8s. But you're in the zone. I mean, if you're in an 8 year, it's like the no-fail year. So you can do no wrong, really. It's like as long as you're following the signs, as long as you're catching, I call them breadcrumbs, right? Because they're like universal breadcrumbs. If you catch them and pick them up at the right time, then you're in. You're still in the flow, right? So it's like always being aware of like the hummingbird thing. For me, it's like, I could have just left it at that. It's like, oh, a hummingbird was in there and never looked it up. But I looked it up and I realized that was a total message for me, right? So I'm always mindful of watching for those little tiny details that make all the difference, because it could be just something like you meet someone on the street and they're like, yeah, you should connect with so-and-so, and you might just take it with a grain of salt and say, oh yeah, maybe I will, but really pay attention, because there might be something in there, and go home and Google the name, or at least and see where it leads you, because I find 9 times out of 10 it's like these little tiny things that just seem casual that lead you into like huge things. It's like the jewelry line I was telling you. It's like I just had this inkling, like, I should. And there was a bracelet sitting beside me because my partner is a runner. So I bought her this bracelet. And it was sitting beside me because we needed to get one of the charms tightened because she had gotten it caught on something. And, I was sitting there thinking, I really want to do this jewelry line. And I had someone else creating a line, and it just didn't seem like it was the right thing, or that I needed to add something. And I thought, I'm going to contact this lady, because we actually had a problem with the bracelet in the beginning, because I had ordered it with my Canadian credit card, because I still have my Canadian credit card. And so the billing address and the shipping address were different, so they double billed me. So I ended up talking to the owner initially. So I had direct communication with her. Another synchronicity, right?
Sweet, right
So I already had her name. And I said, I'm going to email her just out of the blue. And lo and behold, she actually just that week had the capability of making custom charms. Yeah, custom charms other than the running jewelry. So it was like perfectly timed. That was a breadcrumb. That was like, what's the chances that was sitting beside me on the desk? All these little things. It's just, I think that people are not mindful enough. They're like on autopilot and they miss so many things. Yeah. But on the flip side too, I think that we don't necessarily miss the boat. I think that there's always going to be opportunities coming at us.
Effect, right?
It's like we might take the scenic route, but there's always, the universe is going to keep coming at us with stuff. But who wants to do the scenic route when you can take the shortcut and find all these little tidbits, right? That's my motto. So I'm always teaching people, look for stuff, look for signs, like any little thing, something falls on your car. What does that mean? I'm always saying, what does that mean? And I, yesterday with the hummingbird, I'm like, what does that mean? And so I'm always very curious about that. And I think that's the key to be in the club, is those are the mindful people, the ones that are paying attention to the small details. That's what I think.
Since I've met you, I have literally, I feel like my third eye is open. I'm digging in my hole. I didn't even know what that was.
Well, you're going hardcore. I'm not even into the stones, really. I'm like,
I'm literally anything and everything about it. Like,
well, maybe I should, but All right, so let's see. I just kind of wing it. I mean, it's casual. It's cool. John is patient with me. I'm appreciative of John.
I'm enjoying it
because he keeps me together. He's he's behind the scenes and. If I get lost, he keeps me on track, so it's all cool. But all right, what was I going to say? Yeah, John, I was going to mention that too. The 777, the first of the week. People kept asking me that. I was going to say this week has like been really you just came back from New Mexico or Mexico?
City.
And you feel all pumped and ready to go. And actually, the first of the week was 777. And everyone was asking me, what the heck does that mean? What, all these sevens. And this year in particular, like 2014, is the truth-seeking year. It's like the year to be authentic and just say, whatever doesn't resonate with me, I got to drop it. It's a lot of people are feeling that energy that says, these people don't resonate with me, or this doesn't resonate with me. I can't have it in my space anymore. So it's this raw and real kind of energy where some people are struggling with it. But this week has been pretty harsh for some people because of that strong 7 and the full moon. So the 7s are like really strong this week.
It's funny you say that, because literally last 6 months I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
People that are weird in my life, giving me issues, do not have time.
Exactly. I was saying that yesterday to someone. I have like negative percentage in terms of negativity and drama. I'm like, I just don't have time for that. I have enough of my own stuff.
It's called the iPhone.
Yeah.
Deny.
Yeah. It's like, maybe it's age. Maybe I'm getting older and I just, don't have time for the BS, but it's like I can't do it anymore. And I think it's this raw and real year. It's going to be a great year, but next year is going to be the 8 year. So when you're finishing out your 8 personal year, right? But the global year is going to switch over to the 8, and we're going to start feeling it like as soon as the fall clicks over, because September is like the unofficial new year, right? A lot of people feel like they want to start new projects and do new things in September because it's actually the 9th month. So we go in cycles of 1 to 9. So when we get to the 9th energy, it's like very high change. Like we want to kind of turn the next chapter. So usually the New Year's energy will come in like as early as fall, and you're going to be in like super, super high change because it's going to be a global year of 8, which is more manifestation, more abundance for you. And then you're going to be in a personal year of 9, which is the highest change energy you can have. So you're going to see changes on every level. You're going to see like, location, career, relationships, the whole 9 yards. And I actually did a quick little impromptu reading for the receptionist that caught the bird yesterday. And she was in that 9 cycle, but in a bigger cycle. And she's like, oh my God, it's been off the hook with changes and stuff. And it never fails that when you're in a 9 energy, it's like you're always going to see. So I wouldn't even be surprised if you don't move, or, you might get that house in Brentwood, that kind of move. Or it might be a bigger move, it might be something more significant, but it's definitely going to be a whirlwind change year for you, starting in the fall and going into the next year.
It's so weird you saying this, because
it's not weird. It's
not weird.
It's
but
a science of numbers.
The universe saying, because literally, again, we'll talk later, but that's, again, I just had a coincidence, amazing coincidence right now. Well,
I'm telling you, the numbers are never wrong, and I love it because it's my passion, and people always resonate with the numbers. I'm actually starting a documentary, I was telling you, remember, on the numbers, because how many people see number sequences and nobody has done anything on it?
Act on it, yeah.
It's kind of like the invention thing, I think. It's like, well, somebody must have done it, right? But nobody has. So it's like my thing, right? It's like I'm meant to bring numbers mainstream, I think, because I'm really practical about it. I'm not, like, it's more quantum physics to me than metaphysics. Yeah. So it's like, everyone from like devout Christians to like burly tattoo guys that haven't read anything spiritual in their life get me. They totally understand where I'm coming from, because I'm neutral with it. I just give them, I don't say, oh, it's this, airy-fairy stuff, and it's very practical. I tell all
my friends, I talk about you all the time. And remember,
well,
I was like, hey, do you mind if I pass out your info, or if you have another number? Yeah. I really want. There's another lady I just saw, and I was telling you all about her, and she's like, oh my God, I can't wait to call her. I'm like, well, I know. I'm like, okay.
Cool. Well, like I say, when you're living what you love, it's like you get in the zone, you get in the club. It's I guess that's the key, don't you think? It's like find your path and your purpose, and then it just all flows. It all
works out.
Yeah, you get in the club. Do you see 1111?
11, I see. The funny thing you said about the 8s and 7s, everything is a 7 and 8 in my life right now.
7 and 8.
And then I've been seeing some 6s.
Oh, so 7. The flip side of the 7, besides the truth thing, is it's called the teaching learning number. So a lot of 7s, for example, they will want to share of themselves. They want to say, like, listen, this is what happened to me, and I've been there. So it's kind of like, in its own way, a mentoring energy, and also like a real and practical way of sharing information. It's like, I think most people learn best by sharing stories, like personal stories, right? And do you incorporate that into any of your speaking?
All the time.
Exactly. And that's like the key. So I think maybe you're seeing the 7s because it's like you're in the zone for this teaching. I think you're probably, maybe you'll even move away from like the actual hands-on and more into like traveling and teaching.
God, see, this is why it's always so weird when I talk to Michelle. Like, that's exactly.
But your gift is communication, so it's not surprising, right? That you're going to move
Took a
away from
while.
that.
I don't know.
And the other cool thing is, now the 4s are cool for me because with this documentary, there's a little girl and I talk about her sometimes on my shows because if it's fitting, because this little girl was diagnosed at a really early age with schizophrenia, but her chart is like ridiculous. It's all soul plane numbers. She doesn't have anything on the physical, nothing on the mind plane, so she's living like completely through the soul plane, and she sees the number 4 everywhere. She has an imaginary friend named 400, and she sees like baby 4s in the room. And there's a documentary on her, and she's been on Oprah and Dr. Phil and all that stuff. So you're a 4, and I would love to know what her vision of the 4 is, but I know what it is, and it's really 4 energy. They say it's like the angel number or whatever, but 4 is like the symbol of the square, and it's 4 sides, so it's really practical, grounded, solid energy. But it also represents like a gateway energy, because if you think about humans, how we operate, we're either doing something on the physical, we're feeling something in the emotional realm, or we're thinking something. That's kind of the 3 planes that we operate on. So the 4th is like the awakened being, and I don't want to get too new agey or metaphysical on people here, but it's like this is what's happening globally with people too. It's like we're starting to become aware of the fact that there's more to life than just the drone going through the motion. So 4s are like guides, gateways. Like they're kind of like what you're doing is like making a bridge for people. So the people who are like way over here and kind of struggling and lost, you're kind of making that bridge for them to get over here, which is like seeing clearly where they're supposed to be going, what they're supposed to be doing, and that kind of thing. So it's really guiding kind of energy. I love the 4, love it. Okay, so I got the signal from John that we have 5 minutes left. So I want to give out Jin's information because he's really cool. You should go on his website, read his bio, and look at what he's all about. And it's really simple. It's, where did I put that? Darn it. Okay, so it's jinbanghair.com, and he's like, Jin Bang is Jin Bang Hair on Twitter, Jin Bang Hair on Facebook. It's really easy. The brand is easy, and it's a cool name. So visit it and check him out. I mean, if you're in LA, I went to see him, and I made the mistake of going to somebody else because it was free. So I had to bring him back on my show so I could weasel my way into his chair again.
Anytime. We'll fix it. We'll grow it out again. We'll make it happen.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. This was cool.
Thanks,
and,
it was cool. I had fun.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
John.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Always a good show. So I'm going to send you that, and we'll post it all over everywhere so you can check out Jin.
Thank you for listening to Life by the Numbers with celebrity numerologist Michelle Arbeau. Broadcast on UBN Radio from the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific for all things numbers and so much more. We're out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel